TikTok is on its theoretical deathbed here in the United States, and it seems like one by one, countries have been killing it off. And amidst all of this, a theoretical competitor has kind of come out of nowhere, and that is Instagram's Reels. Short videos that are a blatant copy of TikTok's, even down to the formatting of the homepage. Nothing like pouncing while the body's still warm, right? If you're on Instagram, you've probably seen Reels pop up in your feed, your stories, and most prominently on your Explore page. And you might be wondering, what is going on? Well, in this video, I want to lay out what we know right now about Reels, and to answer the question, are Reels the new TikTok? Hey y'all, it's Annelies, and if you don't know what TikTok is, hello, welcome to the internet. You look like you might be lost, but don't worry, you're safe with me. And if you are familiar with the app filled with dancing and lip syncing and vast communities from skaters to frogs, because yes, of course frog TikTok exists, why wouldn't it exist? You would be aware that TikTok is just a few weeks away from potentially getting banned here in the US. Now, just like Instagram does best, when they see something working great, they like to swoop in, steal the star of the show, and then throw it on their own platform. Stories were so successfully hijacked from Snapchat in 2016 that now stories are one of the most prominently used features on Instagram. If we go in the Wayback Machine to 2013, you might remember when Instagram added the feature to be able to post videos instead of just photos to your feed. And it was eerily similar to Vine. Recording within app, jump cut editing, it was just tweaked to have a longer video limit. And then here we are in 2020, where TikTok is consistently living in the top 10 free apps of the App Store. It has over 800 million monthly users. Instagram has 1 billion for reference. And one of the biggest markets for TikTok, India, just recently banned it, and it seems like the US is trying to follow suit. Then, out of the blue, Reels appear on every corner of the Instagram app. How convenient. Reels launched about 2 weeks ago in 50 countries, and to be honest, it feels really rushed. Instagram launched Reels under a different name in Brazil in late 2019. Then in early 2020, some countries in Europe got it tested out, and then here we are in August of 2020. Then, what felt like really suddenly, Reels gets dropped in our lap without a lot of prep or advertising, and to be honest, a lot of missing features. As of recording this video, these are the basics on Reels. They are 15-second videos that can either be uploaded to Instagram or filmed within the app. The format mimics TikTok in the sense that you can use sounds from other creators on your Reels, as well as music from Instagram's vast library, along with adding titles and effects. There is no dedicated Reels app like there is for IGTV. There is a dedicated tab on your profile once you post a Reel, just like there is for IGTV. When you share a Reel, you have the choice for it to show up in your main feed or grid, or just under the Reels tab. There are no ads currently on Reels. There is no homepage for Reels, only a section on the Explore tab. You can see right off the bat that there are a lot of stark similarities between TikToks and Reels, and Instagram is not even trying to hide the fact that this is an attempt at a TikTok competitor, or more honestly, at this point, a replacement. Let's put it this way, if they are trying to hide it, they are doing a very bad job at doing so. The titles, the short video style, the utilization of voiceover or music, the effects, the home feed that you just scroll through endlessly, pretty similar stuff. However, if Instagram wants Reels to be a real, honest competitor of TikTok, they're missing quite a few features, and that's honestly why I feel like Reels haven't picked up the traction that maybe Instagram would have hoped for by this point.
So I'm editing this video, and I just wanted to apologize for the jokes that I did not make when the opportunity was there. Like, if Instagram really wanted it to be a competitor, I think the there were a lot of missed jokes in this whole video, and I would just like to apologize.
I mean, first of all, Reels are less than a month old, so they're still really new. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. However, they've been out long enough for creators to realize what's missing, as well as for Instagram to make a lot of updates and changes. Someone who I follow on Instagram, her name is Courtney, she goes by @ColorMeCourtney, actually was one of the first, if not only, influencers that I saw on launch day really talking about Reels. She made a whole bunch of Instagram stories, she has a highlight currently on her page right now about it, and on launch day she was posting everything that she knew or felt about Reels, as well as some insight from her contact at Instagram. I ended up catching her post all these updates sort of in real time, and what was wild to me is that Things were changing before both of our eyes. She's made a blog post about Reels as well as updated it, so if you're interested on her perspective or what she's got to say, I'll leave that link down below. Obviously, Instagram has been planning Reels. There is no doubt about that. But there is no release date, there is no massive preparation type of advertising to its users. But it just kind of feels like they threw what they had of Reels on our lap one day, and that just so happened to coincide with the announcement of the potential death date of TikTok. How convenient. Okay, so if I can share with you, here's like my tinfoil hat theory on Reels and why it was launched so kind of like haphazardly. Okay, so TikTok, it's on the brink of extinction. I think Instagram wanted to compete with TikTok once they saw its mainstream success. No doubt about that. Look back at videos from Vine or stories from Snapchat. When they see something they like, they want to go for it. I think they thought they had a lot more time because at the beginning of this year, did any of us really think that TikTok was going anywhere? It seemed to be just hitting its stride. But then all this security talk started happening around TikTok.
Security TikTok. TikTok around TikTok.
And then things got real when India cut the cord. Once the US started talking about potentially doing the same thing, I think Instagram realized that there was a large audience that was potentially about to have a lot of free time, and if they wanted those eyeballs, they had to move now. So they released Reels. It has basic features, pretty copy-paste from TikTok. Even the creating and posting method is similar, but not identical, probably for copyright reasons. They released the platform without any ads. This is an attempt to gain the trust of the new users, to make it more appealing. And then once you get full integration, boom, you get ads for that backpack you've been looking at for like the last 3 weeks in between Reels. I don't know if you can remember back this far, but stories used to not have ads. But once people get hooked, an ad or two isn't going to push them away, right? Now, there's a difference between launching a new feature and adjusting it as time goes on versus launching a copycat of an already existing feature without all the pieces that have proven its success. Let's take IGTV, for example. Some might argue that it was an attempt at a replacement or a competitor to YouTube. I don't really think so. I think it was always meant to be its own landscape. But anyways, when IGTV launched, I made a video about it, and recently I went back to watch it, and holy cannoli, have things changed. The design is completely different. The way you upload looks different. There are new features like series, as well as being able to add IGTVs to your story. And as users got to understand this new playground, things evolved, which makes sense. Now let's talk about Reels. There's no denying that Reels is a copy of TikTok. Just like Instagram stories were an exact copy of Snapchat stories, except this time they're at least using a different name. The question I have is why would they launch a more subpar version of a successful thing? That's like if Nike decided to launch their own copycat of Crocs, but instead they only came in one color and they weighed like 5 times as much. It doesn't make sense, and it's not going to be appealing to the audience that you're trying to convert. Now, what is the 5-pound Nike Croc equivalent to Instagram Reels, you might ask? Well, there are a few things. First of all, there only seems to be a For You page that isn't even really a For You page. The reason why I say this is when I was watching another person's video about Reels, I saw that they were getting the same Reels in their like For You page as I was. Now granted, it's really new and not that many people had posted Reels by that time, but still I found it kind of odd. There's also no following tab, which is really weird to me because Instagram is more so based off of who you follow versus discovering new accounts. You think they would have initially launched Reels with like some sort of following tab as well. After all, there is a following tab and an explore tab in the IGTV app, so you think they would have done the same thing with Reels. The other 5-pound crock about this whole situation, which if that's gonna be a saying now, I mean, I'll go with it, is that when it comes to posting Reels or creating them, it is nowhere as intuitive as it is on TikTok. Instead of utilizing the already existing add or new post button that you have on Instagram, they've made the creation or the add button for Reels inside of the Instagram Stories camera, which is not where I would initially think to go. Along with that, you can't edit or delete previous clips or takes or segments of your reel like you can on TikTok. You can only delete or edit the most recent one that you recorded. So if you're recording in the app like a lot of people do on TikTok, you have to make sure that every take or clip is perfect before you move on to the next one because there's no going back at the end. Also, when it comes to making Reels, you only have 15 seconds. On TikTok, you have up to a minute, so you got a lot more variety there. Another really odd choice that I think they've made is not having a dedicated app for Reels. At launch, IGTV had its own app. Now granted, it is probably the least used place where people would view an IGTV from, but regardless, it still exists. You get a lot more detail in the IGTV app too. That's also where you post your IGTVs. There's a lot more information and ways to find new IGTVs, but then with Reels, they're all just expecting to cram that into the already existing app that has already a lot of different things going on. I think part of the reason why TikTok is so successful is because when you go to the platform, you know you are only going to get TikToks. When you go to Instagram, there are so many different things that you can see. Things are bound to get lost in the chaos. I think it's essential to have Reels on the main Instagram app, but by giving Reels its own app, I think it could become a thing that could actually compete with TikTok. Also, you'd be able to add even more features into a new app because there's a lot more landscape and you wouldn't have to worry about sacrificing any existing features for other things. Right now, if you go to the story camera on Instagram, there's just kind of a lot going on. But if you had a dedicated Reels app, you could put a lot more there without feeling overwhelmed. When you are looking at competing with a powerhouse, you have to bring everything that you can. I feel like people who were on the team for Reels never really used TikTok for more than just doing research for this clone they were creating, and I think that was also a fault because they're not realizing what features are needed in order for it to be successful, or what features people actually want. If they wanted to have success with Reels right off the bat, they should have reached out to people who were already on TikTok, who were also maybe big on Instagram, and had them test it out in advance and let these people give Instagram feedback on where they feel like Reels could improve. According to some users like Color Me Courtney, Instagram had reached out to popular creators to have them test out the platform, but I can't tell if it was to just purely get to know the platform so they were ready for launch day or to actually give Instagram feedback on where they could improve. I have a feeling it was just the first one. Another thing that I learned is that Facebook, which is of course the parent company to Instagram, tried this thing out called Lasso, which was essentially Reels 1.0 that just never really took off. But through the launch and subsequent silent failure of Lasso, I could only assume that they probably learned a lot and gathered a lot of data from the users that were on it. That's why I'm kind of surprised about this unpolished TikTok copycat. I feel like they should know more. This was definitely not something that they just started working on this year. So the main question, are Reels an actual competitor to TikTok? My answer, I think the potential is there, but right now, no. TikTok is working too well for users to want to move over to a lesser copy with fewer bells and whistles where it's not even the star of the show. I think for the real way for Instagram to bring Reels up to par with TikTok is for them to have a dedicated app. People on TikTok have Instagrams. It's not like there's no overlap in that user base. The reason they go to TikTok is because they want streamlined short-form video content. The reason why they go to Instagram is because they want literally everything else. If they can make an app that just does that streamlined short-form video content, which is a tongue twister, might I add, I think there might be some success there. Additionally, they need to talk to some massive TikTok creators, to the Gen Z folk, to the people who are on TikTok constantly. Addison Rae, Charli D'Amelio, and Dixie D'Amelio are three of the biggest creators on TikTok, and as of right now, none of them have posted a single reel. Now, you do have other massive creators on TikTok like Just Maiko and Brittany Broski who have also posted some reels, but if they can get these big names to not necessarily move over entirely, but at least give reels the time of day, it might make people intrigued enough to take a look and give it a chance. It's all about baby steps, and I understand baby steps are not exactly feasible when the end of TikTok is much nearer than we all might think. For me personally, I think the idea of Reels is good, it's just executed poorly. But even still, I don't know if I can see myself really using it. What I liked about TikTok back when I was still using it is that it was just like a silly place to kind of be fun and shitpost on. However, the idea of sharing my TikTok style content to my Instagram profile doesn't really feel like the same type of energy to me. And maybe that was just because I knew that less people were going to see it, or less people that I knew were going to see it. But when it comes to my Instagram profile, it's more of like a spotlight on me. I don't know. I'm obviously open to getting to know Reels and see how I can utilize it. However, as of right now, they're not super appealing. If you're an Instagram user and a TikTok user, I am very interested to hear what you have to think on this and like what your opinion is. Do you feel like you can post the same type of content that you were sharing on TikTok to your Instagram Reels? Do you feel like it would have to be completely different? If you have any opinions at all to share about this whole like Reels versus TikTok scenario, please let me know in the comments because I'm super fascinated by this whole situation, considering that Instagram is like the biggest, I'm pretty sure, the biggest social media in the whole world. Trying to take on TikTok, It's just really interesting. I like the idea of Reels just as I like the idea of TikTok. TikTok nailed the algorithm game, and that's why I also think it was just so successful, because nobody's home feeds look the same. I don't know how they did it, but whatever they're doing right. I think once Instagram can figure out that secret sauce to Reels, it'll probably take off. It just feels sort of weird right now because not only have they not figured it out, but they are clearly trying to swoop in on this sinking ship before it goes completely under. So yeah, there's a lot going on in the world of Reels versus TikTok, and I guess that's it for my little expose on Instagram Reels. They've got potential, clearly. Instagram is great at doing this whole converting thing, and I mean, look at stories. Instagram stories, I feel like, are more successful than Snapchat stories ever were. But right now, Reels are just not there yet, and I do not know if they ever will be. So yeah, I hope y'all liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, consider subscribing to my channel. And if you've got something to say, I would love to hear it in the comments down below. Consider joining my Patreon, check out my podcast, including all of my social media in the description down below as always. Otherwise, that is it for me. Stay beautiful, have a marvelous day. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!